Let's take a look at the SEC's 2025 SEC Championship scenarios. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again to talk about the SEC Championship. Going into week 10, we still got several teams still in contention to play in the SEC Championship. Leading the way, you got Alabama and Texas A&M, who's undefeated in the conference. Then you got a one-loss Georgia. You got a one-loss Vanderbilt. You got a one-loss Ole Miss, and you got a one-loss, it's somebody else in there, a one-loss Texas in the conference, all right? So all those teams got one losses in the conference: Georgia, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and Texas. Then you got Tennessee and Oklahoma with 2 losses. It's still not impossible for them to get to Atlanta. Now, for Tennessee and Oklahoma, one of those teams will be eliminated this week. One of those teams will take a 3rd loss. That'll knock them completely out of the SEC championship game and possibly the playoffs. Okay, so we got a lot going on in the SEC as far as teams buying to play for the SEC championship. Now, if you want to go read this article, I got to shout them out, cbssports.com. You can go there and read this article mapping out 2025 SEC championship game scenarios past for Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, and more contenders. More than half the SEC remains mathematically alive in the conference championship picture, and I just told you all those teams. I think I mentioned 8 teams, I believe. Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Texas, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. That's 8 teams. But like I said, either Oklahoma and Tennessee, one of those teams will be knocked out of contention. All right, probably end the playoff with 3 losses. But even if they win, both of those teams will need help. Whichever one of those teams, they'll still need help to get to Atlanta. So still not impossible. The 2 teams with the clearest path, that's Alabama and Texas A&M. Texas A&M 8-0, 5-0 in the conference. 8-0 overall, 5-0 in the conference. All right. But anyway, Texas A&M got the benefit of an easy schedule. The toughest win they got in the SEC is over Auburn, and you know Auburn is not a good team. All right. They less than mediocre. But that's Texas A&M toughest win in the conference. All right. They have only played 2 ranked teams, Notre Dame and LSU, in which LSU, they in cahoots right now. They wasn't a good team either. All right. Just never mind how they came out to start the season. They end up not being a good team. That's why Brian Kelly don't have a job right now. So, hey, it is what it is. But if I think they next game, Texas A&M next game is against Missouri, and if Missouri can come out and win, that'll throw a wrench in Texas A&M's chances. All right, like I say, Missouri. I didn't mention Missouri. I don't know how many losses they got. I think they got a couple, but I know they lost against Vanderbilt. Okay, they got 2 losses too, Alabama and Vanderbilt. I know they got lost against Alabama and Vanderbilt. But anyway, just lost to Vanderbilt this past weekend. But they still got a couple of other games. They got Texas they got to play. They playing Missouri. I don't know who else they play. But anyway, those 2 games could be critical. Missouri and Texas for Texas A&M. That could be critical. If they lose both of them, they just might be out of the picture. Tell you that right now. But they got a clear path right now. Anyway, it is what it is. Texas A&M had the luxury this season of not having to play Alabama, Georgia, or Ole Miss in conference play. But the likelihood is a high one of those fellow elites will be waiting. That one of those teams will be waiting for those Texas A&M Aggies in Atlanta. You can believe that. You can believe that. So I didn't look at Texas A&M their conference schedule, but I know it's against the weakest teams in the conference. I can tell you that, especially if they freaking hardest win is against Auburn. Come on, man. So hey, it is what it is. But Texas A&M got a clear path right now, and so does Alabama. Alabama, they got the best resume of them all. Best resume of them all. With a win over one loss Vanderbilt, one loss Georgia. They beat Tennessee. Okay, I'm just putting it out there because we went through a gauntlet in the SEC before playing South Carolina. Who was it? Georgia, then Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Missouri, I believe. But anyway, beat all four of them, all them ranked teams. And so, hey, and when Alabama played Georgia, Vandy, and Missouri, they had no losses coming into the game. So Alabama's resume is better than all of these teams, man. I just want you to know that. But we had a tough game this past week. And if South Carolina would have held on the lead and beat Alabama, that would have threw a monkey wrench in Alabama's plans. And that could have set off a trickle reaction for other teams in the SEC, or a chain reaction for the rest of the teams buying to play in the SEC championship. But anyway, didn't happen. It didn't happen. Now, Alabama, they could come out and lose against. They still got LSU. They still got Auburn. They still got Oklahoma. So if they lose any of those games, I mean, who knows what could happen. But anyway, it says, surely the Crimson Tide won't lose to LSU under an interim coach in 2 weeks. But if it happens, that kicks into play various threats currently behind Alabama in the SEC standings, namely Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Georgia. The home bout with Oklahoma next month could be a top 15 showdown if the Sooners win in Knoxville this weekend, in which I don't think them Sooners will do. But anyway, it is what it is. Alabama is in a great position to reach the end game of appearing in the SEC championship game for the first time under Coach Kalen DeBoer. That 3-point win at Georgia in September looms large at this point, along with those victories over Vanderbilt and Tennessee. You know, we talk about these 3 points. The Bull Mutt fans like to say, well, you only beat us by 3 points. You see the implications that those 3 points have? If y'all would have beat Alabama by those same 3 points, y'all would be in the position that Alabama is, having a clear path to the SEC championship. But you don't, because Alabama got the 3 points that matter most. But anyway, moving on. Then let's talk about these Bull Mutts of Athens. 6-1, 4-1 in the conference, man. The Bulldogs need help in their quest to win their control. The Bulldogs need help in their quest to win their control is a staple of this program during his tenure. All right, during the Kirby Smart tenure. Control what you can, man. Control what you can. That's all you can do. You win out, you still might get there. That's all you got to do. Keep winning your games, all right? And hope that Texas A&M or Alabama lose. That's all you got to do. The only thing you can do to help yourself, Bull Mutts, is to win your games. That's it. That's it. Anyway, you still got games against Florida, which one of them is this Saturday. You got to play Mississippi State within the conference. I think you only got 2 more conference games left, and that's Florida and Mississippi State. I think y'all will win both of those easily, those 2 bottom of the barrel teams. I just want y'all to know that. Got no business losing to either one of those teams, and I expect y'all to end the season with only 1 loss in the conference. Really do. I know you'll be a playoff team, no doubt about it. But anyway, with national ranked wins this season over Tennessee and Ole Miss, this team's resume speaks for itself. There's a couple of paths for Georgia to get to Atlanta, but the most straightforward is winning out and Alabama losing 2 of its final 3 SEC games against LSU and Oklahoma and Auburn, and we all know that ain't going to happen. It won't happen. At least I hope it don't happen. I'm just saying. But anyway, I don't think that'll happen. Losing 2 out of the last 3, I don't think it'll happen. I think we can beat LSU, beat them up pretty bad. The good thing about it, LSU and Oklahoma got to come to Bryant-Denny. That's the good thing about it. Now, we got to go to Auburn. But anyway, if Georgia finishes in a tie for second place with Ole Miss, the Bulldogs will be playing during championship weekend ahead of the final playoff selections since they beat the Rebels in Athens. And the Texas A&M and Alabama each dropped one of their final 3 games, resulting in a 4-way tie for first. Georgia is based on conference opponents' win percentage and would have a rematch with the Crimson Tide, baby. They don't want that. They don't want to see that. They say they do, but they really don't. They trying to get, they got false hope. That's what they doing. They trying to bamboozle us Alabama Crimson Tide into thinking that they want to see us when they tell us Alabama Crimson Tide fans we don't want to see them. Yes, we do. That's an easy win. Don't you know my Alabama Crimson Tide is 4-0 against your Bull Mutts in the SEC championships? Come on, man. Rewind and repeat, baby. That's what it will be. So, hey, it is what it is, baby. But let's move on to the next team, and that's those Ole Miss Rebels, man. All right, 7-1 overall, 4-1 in the conference. All right, it's cut and dry for the Rebels. They need to handle South Carolina, Florida, and Mississippi State, then hope Georgia and Alabama finish 6-2 in conference play. Ain't gonna happen. That would take 1 loss from the Bulldogs the rest of the way and 2 for the Crimson Tide. Taking a league title appearance out of the equation for a second, Ole Miss is trying to avoid what happened last season at this junction, a catastrophic November that takes one of the SEC best teams outside of the playoff discussion. Of the current SEC team sliding inside the top 10 ahead of next week's first selection committee rankings, Ole Miss has the easiest schedule remaining. Like Texas A&M, Lane Kiffin, and the Rebels have taken full advantage of a favorable schedule slate by league standards this season. Unfortunately, not playing Alabama or Texas A&M means Ole Miss needs one of those two to lose twice the rest of the way to play in Atlanta. Well, Ole Miss, I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't got no chance. The only tiebreaker Ole Miss holds over a possible threat at this point is Oklahoma. Ooh, Ole Miss, boy, you got a slim to none chance, baby. I can tell you that right now, baby. Lord have mercy. Oh, Texas got 2 losses in the conference. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Texas only got 1 loss. But anyway, talk about Vanderbilt. 7-1, 3-1 in the conference, man. Win out and hope for the best on the various tiebreaker options. That's simply where Clark Lear's team is right now, since they don't own the head-to-head advantage with Alabama and have not played Texas A&M this season. The Commodores the Commodores will have to beat Texas this weekend, then run the table against Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee to have a shot. Vanderbilt still got a tough schedule, man. Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. Now they're going to beat the shit out of Kentucky. Auburn got a good damn defense. Tennessee going to give them a hell of a damn game. And then you got Texas this week, which I think they can beat Texas. Anyway, if Vanderbilt finish in a 4-team tie for first with Alabama, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss, all at 7-1 in league play, the Commodores would be making their first appearance in the SEC championship game by virtue of several conference opponents with percentage metrics. All that would take the Aggies losing one of their final 3 SEC matchups to Missouri, South Carolina, and Texas, which I don't know, possible, maybe to lose one of them. So, hey, it is what it is. If Vanderbilt finished in a tie for second with Ole Miss at 7-1 in the conference play, the Commodores would earn the bid over the Rebels based on conference opponents' win percentage. For that to happen, however, they need Alabama to lose twice next month. Not going to happen. A whole lot of this, falls on Alabama losing 2 conference games. Y'all think that's going to happen? 2 of the next 3 conference games. Y'all think they're going to happen? LSU, Oklahoma, and Auburn. I don't think it's going to happen. That's just me. Me personally, I think Alabama going to win out. That's just me. And let's talk about Texas, 6-2, 3-1 in the conference. Like Vanderbilt, the Longhorns do not control their own destiny and get into the SEC championship game. However, winning out virtually guarantees a playoff appearance. I don't think Texas is good enough to win out, and with or without Arch Manning. Anyway, what was that? Anyway, winning out virtually guarantees a playoff appearance for the 3rd straight season under Steve Sarkisian. Even beating Texas A&M in the finale doesn't put the Longhorns into Atlanta, since they don't own the tiebreaker with Ole Miss, who would also finish 7-1 in conference play. No team outside of Oklahoma and Tennessee needs more cahoots to unfold next month than Texas if the Longhorns want to battle for a conference title. In the event of the 3-way tie for first at the end of the season with Alabama and Ole Miss at 7-1 overall, Texas would get the number 1 seed over both based on record versus common opponents. All played one time. Longhorns will have beaten Georgia, who took out Ole Miss, and has a win over Oklahoma, who would need to upset the Crimson Tide. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Sure won't. Texas need a whole lot to happen. They ain't going to be there. Trust me. If Texas beat Vanderbilt and Georgia, and Texas A&M is upset before those 2 meet in Austin in late November, then the Longhorns would be playing for a berth in Atlanta. That would put Texas and Ole Miss in a 2-way tie for 2nd place behind Alabama. And the Longhorns get the nod since they would have a win over Georgia. Come on, man. Texas ain't beating Georgia. Give it up. Don't even think about it. Just going to be repeat and rewind of last year when those teams meet. And I believe Texas got to come in between the hedges. You ain't Alabama. You ain't beating those bull mutts of Athens, Texas Longhorns. I just want you to know. You ain't going to do it. You ain't going to do it. Come on, man. Texas ain't getting nowhere. Texas going to probably drop a couple of more games. Let's look at Texas' schedule before I get out of here. Let's see. Texas Longhorn schedule. Texas Longhorn. Let's look at the remainder. See what they got. Shit. You playing Vanderbilt this week, which will probably be a loss. Then you got a bye week. Then you You finna drop the next 2 games. Vanderbilt finna beat you. You're going into the bye week with a loss, and you're going to come out the bye week and get your ass beat against the Bull Mutts of Athens. I'm going to tell you that. Then you'll probably lose to those Texas A&M Aggies. You got 2 losses for sure. Tell them like they said, talk in spade. 2 and a possible. For sure 2. Vanderbilt and them Bull Mutts of Athens, and that possible is Texas A&M. Sorry, Texas Longhorns. You will not be playing for the 2025 SEC Championship, nor will you be a playoff team. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at Steve Sarkisian and your Texas Longhorns, okay? But y'all let me know what y'all think. I know there's a lot in this damn video. I was debating whether I should have did it or not. But anyway, let me know what y'all think about all these scenarios. And y'all remember to be blessed. And KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. And roll damn Tide.